Hello, fourth grade math. This video is for your Thursday lesson. We are continuing with mixed numbers and improper fractions. So yesterday you practiced looking at pictures or models and writing both an improper fraction and the mixed number for each one. So today we're going to take that a step further and we're going to practice without pictures being able to turn or change improper fractions into mixed numbers and mixed numbers into improper fractions. Because really, I mean, if you think about it, those two fractions that you wrote for the same picture, they're the same. They equal the same. They're just written in different forms. So we're going to practice going back and forth between those forms today. So it's not hard, but you need to be paying very close attention to what we're doing today so that you can be sure to understand the steps. It will probably be helpful if you have your math textbook in front of you while you are watching this video. So if you need to, go ahead and pause this video now to grab your book. Okay, so in your book, please turn to page 509. So it's where you started working yesterday. So this box up here is one that you might want to be, that you might refer back to, kind of like when you look back at notes in your notebook. This box up here is going to be very helpful for you and it is what I'm going to demonstrate today. So in this first section, it's showing you how to change an improper fraction into a mixed number. And then over here, it's turning mixed number into improper fractions. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. So we'll start by turning an improper fraction into a mixed number. So for example, let's say I have 9/4. This is an improper fraction because my numerator is bigger than my denominator. Now, one thing we haven't really touched on is that fractions are technically a division problem. This fraction bar can be looked at as a division sign. So you'll get into that more in older grades. Don't stress out too much about that, but just know that fractions and division are related. So that's the first thing you need to think about when you're turning an improper fraction into a mixed number. All they're saying is you take the top number divided by 4. So that fraction bar stands for divided by. So just think 9 divided by 4. So read from the top to bottom. 9 divided by 4. So I went ahead and I just rewrote that as a division problem exactly how I said it. 9 divided by 4. So just use your mental math. I mean, we're kind of doing long division, but these numbers are so simple we can do it in our heads. So when we do the mental math here, how many times can 4 go into 9 without going over? It can go in 2 times, okay? 2 times 4 makes 8, so how many would be left over from 8 to 9? So this would be 2 remainder 1. Now it might be better or easier for you to just set it up as long division. So instead of writing it that way, if it helps you, just write it like this. How many times can 4 go into 9? Can go in twice. 2 times 4 makes 8 with 1 left over, nothing left to bring down. So it might be better if you just do it this way, so then you can be sure. But if you feel comfortable, you can set it up this way and just work it out in your head. All right, so here is what you then do with this answer, this 2 remainder 1, in order to make the mixed number. So you have 2 wholes. The remainder becomes your numerator, and then you just keep the same denominator. So 9/4 equals 2 1/4. Let's do some more. Okay. So let's do the improper fraction of 10/3. Okay. So reading top to bottom, 10 divided by 3. So 10 divided by 3, or let's just set it up this way, 10 divided by 3. How many times can 3 go into 10 without going over? It can go in 3 times, which makes 9. Subtract, 10 minus 9 is 1, nothing left, so 3 remainder 1. So how do I turn this into my mixed number? I have 3 wholes. my remainder becomes my numerator, and I just keep the same denominator. So 10 thirds equals 3 1/3. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we had 11 fourths. Okay, so top to bottom, 11 divided by 4. So 11 divided by 4. How many times can 4 go into 11 without going over? 4 can go into 11 twice, which makes 8. Subtract 3. Nothing left to bring down, so that becomes my remainder. Okay, so once I've done that division and I've gotten this answer, now I turn it into my mixed number. So how many wholes do I have? 2. My remainder becomes my numerator, and then I keep the same denominator. Okay, so 11 fourths equals 2 3/4. Okay, it's kind of fun. All right, let's do one more just for giggles here. Okay, let's do 16 fifths. Okay, so read top to bottom. 16 divided by 5. 16 divided by 5. How many times can 5 go into 16? It can go in 3 times, which makes 15. Subtract. 16 minus 15 is 1. Okay, so let's take this, turn it into a mixed number. So I have 3 wholes. The remainder becomes my numerator. That becomes my denominator. You just keep the same denominator. So 16 fifths equals 3 1/5. Okay, so that's all it is. This is like the most basic long division ever after what you guys have done. So those steps that I just demonstrated are right here. So if you need to look back, go to this box. So see how they say, here's 9 fourths. So read it as 9 divided by 4. They set it up like long division, okay? They ended up with 2. That would have been the remainder. So 9 fourths is 2. The remainder goes on top, and then you just keep the same denominator that you had. Okay, so this box will be helpful. All right, so now let's go the opposite way. Now we're going to do mixed numbers turned into improper fractions. So, let me grab my board here. Here we go. So this one is kind of fun. I like to think of it, it reminds me of like a life cycle in science. So you know, on life cycles of like a frog, you've got your little froggy jelly eggs, and then it turns into a tadpole, and then it kind of starts to grow its limbs, and its tail is starting to get smaller, and eventually it cycles up to the adult frog and then back to the eggs. So when we're doing mixed numbers, turning them into improper fractions, it's kind of like you start a life cycle, but whatever trick works for you. So what I have in red is my mixed number. So I have 2 1/4, right? So there's my whole, and there's my fraction. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. So start at the denominator. You're going to take the denominator, 4, and you're going to multiply it by the whole number. So 4 times 2 equals 8. I'm going to take that 8, I'm actually going to change this line. I'm now going to take that 8 and add the numerator, which is 1. So once again, start at your denominator. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And then you just keep the same denominator. How fun is that, right? Okay, so let's do another one. This time I'll do 3. My mixed number will be 3 2/4. Okay? So I start at my denominator, and I'm going to go up here and multiply. 4 times 3 equals 12, right? 4 times 3 equals 12. So now I'm going to take my 12, I'm going to add 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. Let's keep the same denominator. 14 fourths. There's your improper fraction. Let's do another one. Let's do 5 1/2. Okay, so start at your denominator, arrow to that, multiply. 2 times 5 equals 10. Arrow to this, we're going to add this time. 10 plus 1 equals 11. Keep the same denominator, 2. So the cycle that we're doing is always giving us our new numerator, and we just keep the same denominator, just like before. Whatever you had originally, you keep that. Okay, let's do one more. So 4 3/7, how about? Start at your denominator. Arrow, first operation is to multiply. 7 times 4 equals 28. 28 plus 3. 28 plus 3 is 31. And then we keep the same denominator, 7s. I love it. I think it's so fun. Okay, so once again, those steps that I just demonstrated are right here as well. Now their picture, just remember that when you are up to that adding arrow, you're not adding this whole number, you're adding whatever you got here. So when they did 4 times 2, they got an 8. The 8 is what they then add to the 1, okay? So just make sure you don't forget that. Okay, so refer back to those if you need to. So what you're going to do today are these 2 tables, okay? These 2 purple tables down here. So it's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm going to start this one with you. So if you want to get your assignment paper out and kind of go along with me, go for it. Now in the directions it says you do need to copy each one of these tables onto your paper. So just copy this table, put in your headings, copy in the parts that they already have, and then we will fill in the blanks as we go, okay? So either pause the video now and do that, or just watch me and then do it when we're done. Okay, so I'm just going to start part of this. Where did I put my, oh, here it is. Okay, so here's those tables. So like on number 14, well, here's my headings. I have division, then I'm doing improper, and then mixed. So on number 14, they gave us 16 divided by 3. Now they also gave you the improper fraction, but I kind of want to show you how easy it is to go to this column. So for your improper fraction, you're taking the division and just putting it in the fraction form. So 16 divided by 3 is the same as 16 divided by 3. Because remember how we read that fraction bar as a division bar? So that's super easy. So then to turn it into a mixed number, we're going to set it up like we did on this. We're going to use that long division. So I'm going to put 16 divided by 3. 3 can go into 16 5 times, which makes 15. Subtract 1. Okay, so then we take that, 5, 1, 3. So then that is what we would put in the mixed number column, 5 1/3, okay? So then on number 15, they have given us 19 divided by 2, and they actually already gave us the mixed number, it's 9.5. So the only part we have to fill in is this right here. That's a piece of cake. 19 divided by 2 just looks like 19 over 2, okay? All right, on 16, they have left this and this blank, but they gave us 11/9. So this is going to be easy to fill in over here. So 11/9 would just be 11 divided by 9, right? That's all we got to do. So now just to do the mixed number, let me switch my boards. Remember we used that long division strategy, and you can always go and look in that little spot I pointed out in the textbook to remember how to do it. So just set up the same division problem that we did, 11 divided by 9. We just wrote it the other way using the other division sign. So 9 can go into 11 once. Subtract is 2. Oops. So 1, 2, and then the original denominator 9. So 1 2/9 would be the division problem. So you're just going to go through and fill in those two purple charts. So 14 through 21 on page 510. And then you will just use different strategies. If you have to make an improper into a mixed, you set it up with division. If it's mixed to improper, you're going to do that little cycle. Now, just because I have these on boards and your video's done, doesn't mean you don't still have access to those steps. 509 is showing you exactly what I have on those two boards. So look back on this page, okay? Follow their steps, follow their directions. They're the same as the ones I gave you. All right, so fill in those two purple charts, copy them first, and then fill in the blanks. If you need any help or if you're confused, I'm happy to do Zoom meetings. I've done that with a few of you, so it's not a problem. You just have to get in touch with me. All right, have fun. Good luck.